welcome back. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. I don't know, it's too hot. I can't think right now. I have an awful, garbage, filthy mouth where sometimes, just sometimes, I tend to use the word fuck as a comma. I know, it's disgusting. People are over it, whatever. So if I were you and you have children, please put in headphones. If you're not into that or weird stuff in general, this is not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. Or time fondly, or Tom fondly, whatever, who cares. If you want to jump straight to the pure palette review, I will leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. All right, y'all. This was just an experience, okay? Since living in an apartment, we have been desperately trying to find a shopping cart that doesn't cost $90 and comes in 1,000,001 pieces, okay? And I know you're probably saying,
Theresa, what do you need a shopping cart for?
well, my little toast point. When living in an apartment and avoiding making 4 trips to the car for groceries, that cart comes in handy. In any case, I found that Walmart sells the carts, and not for $90. Now, Walmart, depending on where you live, can be an amazing experience, or it could be horrifying. And I say horrifying because all the Walmarts that are close to where I live are horrifying. No matter what time of day it is, there's at least 3,000 people in there, literally climbing on top of each other, ripping stuff out of each other's hands. It's basically Black Friday times 75, no matter what time of day, okay? It's scary. And if you're not fast enough sometimes, by the end of your shopping trip, you'll definitely have a shoe mark on your back. Okay? Because there's going to be at least 6 people trying to trample you. It's like one big horrible episode of Supermarket Sweep. Just everybody running at each other. It is terrifying. I hate it. But I love a good deal. In theory, since New York City is slowly opening back up to the public, stores, I believe, are at 50% capacity. So, in theory, stores shouldn't be that bad. So instead of 1,000, it's going to be 500 people. It's going to be marginally better. In any case, we head to Walmart early in the morning, right? Because we figured we're just gonna get in early and then get out, do the rest of our food shopping and be on our merry way. Now when we get to Walmart, I don't see a line of people outside, so that's great. But I do see a sea of cars. That's not so great. So Alex and I take out a map, draw where exactly the carts are. We make a game plan on how we're going to beeline into there and run to the register. So we mask up and we head into the store. So as we approached the Walmart, there were a lot of people also like running into the store. And there was one man in the front who had an iPad who was counting, who was like, he was about 10 seconds away from just throwing the iPad and just screaming and running away, okay? He could not keep up with how many people were coming into the store. This is not gonna be good, no. So as soon as we walk in, it's just a sea of people just standing around. It was like a zombie outbreak movie. Right before the zombie realizes that you're in the room and they're all kind of just like standing around. That's what it was like. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And I know you're probably saying, well, why wouldn't you just leave? Well, I'll tell you, okay? Do you know how fucking annoying it is to make 4 trips to a car? Yeah, all right? I'm on a fucking mission. I'm getting that goddamn shopping cart. Yes, someone might take a chew out of me, but you know what? I'm getting that shopping cart. So we find a little break in the sea of people and I look at Alex and I'm like, run! So we're just trying to move past these people and it was like every turn we make, there was something horrifying waiting for us. There was one woman that was just yelling at her son,
Charlie, I told you to stop touching the panties.
all right. We then hook a left. We come face to face with a woman who is wearing her mask as a fucking headband. Awesome. So then we run past her. We make a right. We find 2 teenagers making out in an aisle in a fucking Walmart. Ew. Okay. Ugh. Gross. We go past them. After a couple of roadblocks, we finally reach to the laundry section because apparently that's where the shopping carts are. And there they were. The last 2 carts in the store. It had to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. A single tear rolled down my cheek. So Alex takes one cart, I take the other, and we beeline it to the register. In the whole store, there are ground markings, and the ground markings should be at least 6 feet apart. This store, it's about 3. Ooh, not so great. So, cool. Cool. So Alex and I find the express line and we're just waiting patiently and we try to stand at least 6 feet away from the woman that's in front of us. Now our line wasn't moving. So the woman that was in front of me turns around and is holding this giant container of pickles. And she says to me,
you know, I just came here for pickles.
I nodded. I don't know what else to say. She stares at me and Alex for about a minute or so. And then she says,
Hey, can you hold on 1 second? I need to run and get something.
So we nod again. She puts her giant pickles out on the floor and she walks away. A couple minutes later, the lady comes back. She no longer has a mask on, okay? That's one. But she's holding 8 boxes of Entenmann's pound cake. And if you don't know what that is, that's this, okay? She's 8 boxes of them. So 4 and 4 on each side. She's holding them like this. And to steady the boxes from them falling over, she decides to open her mouth and stick her teeth on the top of the box, like, huh, right? Okay, so she's holding the boxes steady with her mouth. Okay, okay, like this. As she walks past me and Alex, she takes her mouth off the box and says,
I just love a good savings.
Don't we all? And you know what? None of the workers said a fucking thing, which makes me feel like this happens a lot. Oh God. And I guess you gotta pick and choose your battles. In any case, that was fun. And it also makes me horrified to join society. Yeah. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the new Pure Raw Beauty Kristi palette. But before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the palette first. Pure X Raw Beauty Kristi Double-Sided Pressed Pigment Palette retails for $34. Get creative and amplify your raw beauty with Pure X Raw Beauty Kristi Double-Sided Pressed Pigment Palette, a limited edition 18-piece palette curated in collaboration with Raw Beauty Kristi to deliver unrivaled colored payoff with high blendable textures. First and foremost, I will only touch on this briefly, but I did pick this up on launch day. The whole process was beyond infuriating, and I really felt terrible for Kristi, who had to watch this unfold live on her timeline. I thought she went above and beyond to communicate on Twitter and did her best to rectify the situation. Pure, on the other hand, was pretty quiet until about 1 hour after the launch, which is a big fucking yikes. Honestly, and not to sound mean, but they are probably not used to the site traffic, because I would hate to think that they underestimated Kristi's influence. With that said, the whole thing was a shit show. I feel like I got off easy compared to some people. I only had to wait 5 hours to pick this palette up, and yes, maybe my hand did get a little bit of carpal tunnel syndrome, but you know what? It's fine. She's here. And I hope that Pure can learn from this launch and be a little bit more transparent from the jump. So I was on the fence about picking up this product, and if you're new to this channel, it's because I don't like Pure products. And a lot of it has to do with BoxyCharm. I want to say between 2018 and 2019, you received a Pure product with every other box. And unfortunately, all the products were subpar. At one point, I felt like I had so many Pure products in my collection. It felt like I accidentally wet a Mogwai somewhere, and then there was fucking gremlins everywhere. Needless to say, I have PTSD from it. Again, I was on the fence because of the brand. I like Kristi, I love her content, and I knew deep down inside she would never put her name on something that was bullshit. After watching her palette reveal video and learning a little bit more about this palette, I was like, I want to check this out. With that said, today's review is about the palette, not the person. So for $34, what exactly do you get? You basically get 2 9-pan palettes. Each side of the palette has a mirror, which is awesome. On one side you have the colorful palette, on the other side is the neutral. Now to differentiate each side, the colorful side has a really nice hollow text, and on the neutral side it has more of a gold text. This palette is really nice and compact, has good weight. I love the design of the palette. I think the black on black is really pretty, and I love the drawings on the palette. This palette has a 6-month shelf life, it's cruelty-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly. Moral of the story, you could probably eat this thing and nothing will happen to you. I love a palette that I can turn into a snack. So for this video, I created 4 different looks. However, the look that I have on my face today, I did not create a video for because it is too fucking hot out. I'm recording this really early in the morning and it's already almost 90 degrees in New York City. I'm about this close to exploding. I love that for me. I'm gonna talk about the shimmers first and then we'll talk about the mattes. Each palette contains 1 shimmer. These are good, and it actually really makes me sad that there are only 2. I can appreciate that this palette is more matte heavy because that is something that I reach for. However, I really wish each side had an additional shimmer shade. Both shades work very well with the entire palette. However, I just wish there was a little bit more variety because I really enjoyed the shimmer formula. These shimmers are very pigmented, and when used with glitter glue, I do not experience any sort of glitter bukkake. They stay in place, they last for a very long time, there's no cracking, no fading, it doesn't fall down your face throughout the day. They are perfect. Even when using the shimmer shade as an inner corner highlight without using any glitter glue or setting spray or water or anything, it's very pigmented and they stay in place. I fucking love them. As for the mattes, holy shit. The fallout and the kick up is fucking insane. I am someone who does my eye makeup first and then the rest of my face. It's not a huge problem for me that I get fallout and I can clean it up. However, if you are somebody that does your base first and then your eye makeup, just be careful. I found that the only way for me not to get a lot of fallout was just using a little bit of product at a time, which ultimately takes it that much fucking longer for you to do your eye look. The formula is very dusty, but very pigmented. And when you do experience the fallout, it's not easy to clean, and it'll definitely leave a nice weird cast on your face if you don't clean it properly. So let's talk about the neutral side first. This color story is beautifully boring, and I mean that in the best way possible. Wear my UGG boots so I can fuck up a pumpkin spice latte. That's what I feel like when I look at this side of the palette. I love it. When using this side of the palette, I didn't notice any visible fading, with the exception of You're Not My Real Dad. I found that the shade works better if you just layer it on. When you start to blend, you lose a little bit of the pigmentation, and then ultimately you could see your lid underneath. But when I figured out that all you have to do is just layer it and leave it alone, it worked fine. Now, when using this palette, I use two different bases, and that is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer and the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Base. And I had no issues with longevity. My favorite shade on this side of the palette, besides the shimmer, is the shade Camelot. It's the perfect mustard yellow color. I love it. Now let's move on to the color side. I had the same issue with Kick Up and Fallout. She's a messy bitch. The two colors I had the most difficult time playing with is the purple shade, which is Tribute, and the blue shade, which is Hurtful. I found that these shades on initial application are beautifully pigmented, but they don't have exceptional longevity at all. And at times when blending those two colors out, they actually appear patchy. For one of my looks, I wanted to deepen the outer corner, but I didn't want to use the neutral side. So I figured, okay, you know, I'm gonna use a little bit of purple. I found it to be a little bit patchy. So then I went and I used a little bit of Hurtful on top of that. It was like the worst idea. They did not blend well together. If anything, they came off as like a muddy, patchy mess. And even though I was layering the product on, after about 20 minutes or so, I start to see my lid poking through. So there's something about those two shades that my eyelid just fucking absorbs. The rest of the colors in the palette are completely fine. I didn't experience any sort of issue with them. I had no issues with building up these shades. However, since they are pressed pigments, at times blending can be a little tricky. So it's one of those palettes where you have to go back and forth between colors a few times just to get your desired opacity. But I feel like that's usually the case with all pressed pigments because the colors are so strong. When I did reach my desired opacity, I loved everything that I created. Now, my favorite shades in this side of the palette is Flavor Town, Mi Orange, and Dandelion. When using all those three shades together, fucking amazing. It creates a really beautiful sunset moment. Sometimes I feel like reds are difficult to make. This one, I was blown away because I was like, oh shit, she's not here to fuck around. Like, oh my God. Which is funny because it's a shade that I would not normally gravitate towards, but I love the formula of that one. The rest of the palette, Garden State, Side Effect, and Lumos, right? Lumos, whatever, the fucking Harry Potter one. Those were great as well. The only shade that I experienced staining with, the pink shade Side Effect. I did have slight staining for about a day. Again, not the end of the world. My skin color is fucking transparent. So everything fucking stains me. I'm not mad about it. I'm just happy that I didn't experience any sort of irritation like I normally do with pressed pigments. I am pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this palette. I think I favored the neutral side a little bit more than the colorful side, and that's because the colorful side for me was a little bit of a jumble. Every time I looked at this palette, I kinda didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't sure what paired well with what. It was a lot of trial and error. But when I did ultimately figure out what I wanted to do, I enjoyed the looks that I created with it. This is leaps and bounds better than any pure product I have ever tried, or will ever try in the future. Let's be honest. Now, do you need this palette? That's on you. At the end of the day, there's nothing inherently unique about this color story. Now, the formula will get the job done, but it's not the most amazing thing I've ever tried. It's good, but it's not shit my pants fucking amazing. And had I known this was going to come to Ulta, and I do apologize if she had mentioned it in her video and I completely missed it, but if I knew it was coming to Ulta, I totally would have missed purchasing this on the Pure website, and I would have used some of my points to purchase this palette. I totally think this is worth it if you're gonna be using points, but to pay $34, it's good, but I don't think it's $34 good. Congratulations to Kristi. I wish you nothing but love and success with the palette, the baby, the house, the everything. Congratulations to you. It is well deserved. And with that said, I want to hear from you pumpkins. Let me know down below, were you able to pick up this palette? If you didn't, are you going to pick it up at Ulta? Please let me know because I love hearing from you munchkins. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Patreon. And to my beautiful, wonderful patrons, thank you so much for keeping this garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you for being so awesome and so sweet and so kind. I love your little darling dumpling faces, and I can't wait to pinch the shit out of them whenever I get to meet y'all. I'm sorry in advance. If you want to know what is currently on my face, along with where to get this palette, everything will be listed in the description box below. There'll be a new episode of Dead and Bored out very, very soon, so definitely look out for that. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Stay safe, keep fighting the good fight, wash your hands, and wear a mask. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.